I really love your music. It's poetic, it's beautiful, it says a lot about a period that's important in my life. American Pie especially, Vincent also. But American Pie was the biggest song that you ever had. It was so big, as you said in the...
It was plenty big.
It was plenty big. I mean, gold and more gold, and I'm sure you were asked to play it every day of your life. How do you feel about it now, looking back on it?
Well, I'm proud of it, and I mean that. But I'm also, like I said, it's a song that I wrote 2 years ago, and it's 2 years of living has gone down since then. But, you know, as a performer, you have to get used to singing things. I sing And I Love You So, which I wrote 7 years ago. That became a hit last year, so everybody was interested in my singing that song, so I started singing it again. Vincent is 3 years old. You just have to find new meanings in the material, otherwise you'll bore yourself to tears. And that's what happens. Every night something creeps up on me. And I find a little nuance or a little corner of the song that I've never ventured into before, and so it keeps my interest. The probing and the whole cult that grew up around the song I think is sort of interesting, but it really bore no relationship to my life and began to sort of bore me after a while.
In literature, especially when an author, his first book is autobiographical, they say that the general experience, but they say the general experience is a difficult time writing the second novel.
Well, it's because, you know, you put 20 years of living into some things, and then you got 6 months to come up with a sequel.
Do you think, has that been your experience?
Well, no, because I never expected to be successful, really. You know, American Pie was 9 minutes long. I knew that there are certain rules you don't break about Top 40 radio, and one of them is nothing is over 3.5 minutes. Theory being that the people aren't smart enough to remember anything that's too much longer than that, which is a lot of... But, you know, got to keep something simple. Everybody can whistle. That's their theory, you know. I gave them something they could whistle, but it was 9 minutes long, so...
Are you under great pressure to come up with another American Pie? Or Vincent, or...
No, I'm not, because... music for me is self-expression, and I think the first 2 albums I made, Tapestry and American Pie, were introspective to a degree, but I had my finger on the pulse of what was going on. After American Pie, my life was destroyed, and my value systems were thrown around in a funny kind of way.
Because, by superstardom?
Yeah, I really, you know, it was like being in a room by yourself and opening a door and having 8 million people there. That's the feeling that I have in trying to relate how it felt, you know. All of a sudden, here's a party for 8 million people. So, close the door. So the Don McLean record, which followed that, was really the most introspective thing I have ever done. It was just an effort to talk about the insanity that was encroaching in on me and how I felt more and more detached from reality. Then I stopped writing altogether. Quit it. I figured that, well, if the audience, you know, I can't explain to them any better than I have on this record. It's, rather than going out and saying, look, I just don't want to write anymore for a while. And then a friend of mine came along named Frank Wakefield, who's a crazy guy who plays the mandolin. He's a real genius. And he said, you know, we got to make an album together, just happy songs that mean something to you, because you got to get your spark back. And I, you know, I didn't know what to do. He just started playing that mandolin. I started feeling good again, and then I decided the best thing for me to do was quit doing gigs for a while and just start to build life all over again so that songs would come out. And around October of last year, I finished a European tour. I decided I'd come home and not go away for a while. And I just started, all of a sudden, everything began to slow down, and I began to see the reality of my situation and how much it had changed and how quickly it had changed from the days when each little song that I wrote was a major thing. Each little lick that I learned on the guitar was invaluable to me. And once again, things began to have that value. And now the songs started flowing.
Okay, we'll listen to one of your new songs when we come back in just 1 minute, okay? Homeless Brother.